Welcome to this video on configuring Modbus sensors in YourSix. In this training, we'll focus specifically on Modbus sensors, not native sensors. Before getting started, it's helpful to review the Modbus terminology documentation so you're familiar with core concepts, including gateways, servers, registers, and additional things. So, before we get started, I'm going to show you the documentation where I want you to review. As you can see here on my screen, we're at docs.yoursix.com. There are two main places that you will need to spend some time reviewing. First is under Reference. Left side of the screen, you'll see Sensors, and this is where you're going to go through and fully understand the terminology and understand the general concept of how we're deploying sensors. The second place is under Manual, Administration, and at the very bottom, along the left side, you'll see Sensors, and this is actually the configuration process. This is what we will go through today in this video. Now, before we begin the configuration process, make sure 3 items already exist in the platform. First, you'll need an organization. Second, you'll need a site. And third, you'll need a Modbus gateway device. In this example, we're using an Axis A9210, which has already been enrolled in YourSix. The gateway device, the A9210, is enrolled using the same process you would following adding any device into the platform. Before proceeding, it's important to discuss testing and validation. Modbus devices can vary significantly between manufacturers. Differences in register maps, scaling values, bit order, communication settings, and supported functions can all impact how data is collected and displayed within the platform. For this reason, YourSix strongly recommends thoroughly testing all Modbus integrations before deploying them in a production environment or delivering a solution to a customer. Whenever possible, validate communication with the device, confirm that values are being read correctly, verify the scaling in the unit conversations, and ensure alarms and reporting behavior is as expected. Taking the time to test during the implementation helps prevent troubleshooting later and ensure that the successful deployment and the experience for both you, the integrator, and the customer is ideal. Now, let's jump in and actually look at the configuration process. We're going to start by going to Configuration. And we're going to start by locating Device along the left side, and we're going to locate the actual gateway device, which is the A9210. Got it located right here. I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to be on the actual Edit Device page for that gateway. I'm going to scroll down to the Modbus Configuration section. We're going to select the Configuration button, and we're going to configure the following communication settings. You've got baud rate, parity, and stop bits. You will enter these and click Save. A quick note about baud rate. The baud rate determines how quickly data moves across the Modbus network. Higher baud rates allow more devices and registers to be polled in a shorter period of time, but they also require higher quality wiring and installation practices. For most deployments, the 9600 baud rate works well, especially when polling approximately 8 servers with around 10 registers, each at 5-second intervals. So we're going to select the baud rate, the parity, and the stop bit. Then we're going to hit Save. Next, we're going to switch over to the Modbus server section right below where we just set up the port. You'll hit Add Server. You're going to enter the following information: a name, the address. This is the Modbus RTU address assigned to the server, a description, and then advanced settings. Under advanced settings, you will find poll interval. The poll interval controls how often the gateway reads data from the server. So shorter intervals provide more frequent updates and faster threshold event detection, while longer intervals actually reduce the bus traffic. For most installations, a 5-second poll interval is a good starting point. So we're going to leave it at 5 and we're going to hit Save. Then we're going to scroll down to the sensor configuration section, and we're going to hit Add Sensor. The first part that pops up will be the general settings page. Enter the following information. You got the name of the sensor, the description if needed, and then the unit. The unit is the actual unit of measurement, such as degrees Fahrenheit, degrees Celsius, percentage, parts per million, for example. Next, you're going to go to the threshold section. The threshold, which is the optional upper and lower limits that can generate events. So notifications when something goes over the upper threshold or below the lower threshold. For this instance, we're going to set up a temperature reading. So this one, for example, I have Fahrenheit in there, and I'm going to go put the threshold at, let's say, 32 degrees as my lower and 100 as the upper. Then you're going to set the min and max values. And what that is the expected operating range of the sensor. These minimum and maximum values help define the y-axis scale used in the actual charts and visualizations. So we're going to say 0, and we're going to say a max of 125 for this example. Then you have the advanced settings. The advanced settings here, you have storage interval. The storage interval controls how often sensor readings are written to storage. In environments where values change very slowly, increasing the interval can reduce the network traffic and storage consumption. Then you're going to hit next after setting the storage interval if it needed to be changed. Then we're going to actually jump in and look at the actual sensor data and where it's located on the Modbus server. So you're going to complete a set of fields here. We're going to start with the Modbus server. You're going to select the server that you configured earlier. Then you're going to select the value type. This is a couple different options here. Please read our documentation so that you fully understand the implications of selecting each and how they are applied. You're going to put in the register address. Now, the register address and the register type are found, the information for that is found on a piece of paper that is contained inside the box with the actual server. If you cannot locate that, you can Google your server online and probably find that information as well. So we'll select that, and then we'll go to advanced settings. The advanced settings piece is very important. You have scaling, offset, and the bit order. First, let's talk about scaling and offset. So scaling is used to convert the raw data, and the offset is used to adjust values after scaling. So, for example, some sensors report decimal values as whole numbers. So a temperature at 22.3 degrees may actually come across as 223. In this case, you need to set the scaling to 0.1 to automatically convert the value back to 22.3. Scaling and offset can also be used for unit conversions. For example, if a sensor reports temperature in Celsius and you want to display Fahrenheit, set the scaling to 1.8 and the offset to 32. This information typically can also be found inside the actual manual that comes with the server. So for this example, since we have, we're doing temperature, we're going to say this one was coming across in Celsius, but I want it in Fahrenheit. So I'm going to change the scaling to 1.8, and I'm going to offset it by 32 degrees. Below that is the bit order. Bit order is required when you are selecting any of the 32 value types above, where I selected the 16. So you will set that as needed. Follow any of our documentation on our website for more information on that. Then you will hit next. You're going to review all of this information, confirm it's accurate, and then you're going to hit save. Now, your configuration is properly set up. You can go back to the matrix, confirm the information is coming in as you'd expect it to. And then next, you can also set up logs and notifications. Thank you for watching this.